Seems legit. Oh, see, now he's got like the bowler hat.
Wow, guys.
Welcome everybody to today's session of The Keep. My players have collectively lost their minds with stress at the Feywild, so
I don't like it.
Let's keep announcements short and see if we can resolve this for them and make them stay here a little while longer. So, first off, thank you for joining us. If you haven't checked out our social media yet, you definitely should. We've got an Instagram, we've got our Facebook group. We have a Twitter that is not very active, but maybe one day. Maybe one day.
It's getting better.
So please go ahead and check us out. That would be awesome. Very much appreciated. Also, you should totally check out Take This. They're a nonprofit charity that we are partnering with. They do a lot of work in reducing the stigma of mental health and providing resources for those of us who struggle with that in the gaming community. They have a lot of really cool resources to check out. Donate if you can. We understand life has been crazy. So if you can't donate, spread the word, follow them. They have a much more active Twitter than we do. Yeah. Granted, that's not hard.
That's a low bar.
It is. So definitely check them out. Also, we are co-hosting with Dinner and a Game, who have gone through a little bit of trouble recently. So give them a share, give them a watch. They're on Twitch here at twitch.tv/dinnerandagame. Underscores between each word.
I was going to ask, is it underscores or is it?
It's underscores. So they could use some love and support. Yay, supporting community. So building community is really what this is all about. Like,
also support your local game shop.
Oh, definitely. Please do. Sure. I know Amazon is so much cheaper, but a lot of the game shops are struggling because COVID. So if you've got one open near you, if you can afford to, please go help them out.
You can always afford another set of dice.
I mean, you can always afford another set of dice. That's
what it is. That's the subtitle for the past couple of years is struggling because of COVID.
I mean, You're not wrong. It's been almost exactly a year.
I know, nuts. Hey, John, remember when you went to Greece and started COVID?
I mean,
why'd you do
that? Yeah, this is our new normal, guys.
To see John disappear and COVID start. That was when Brenda showed up for the first time.
So was it me leaving?
Was it simultaneously?
It was the nexus of events.
It is the nexus there.
Speaking of which, last week was our 1-year anniversary of streaming.
We are now over a year old.
Oh, wow. That's a milestone.
Right?
And pretty soon we'll be sitting up and crawling around and then she get potty trained. It'll be great.
I just came back from my niece's 1-year birthday and she's walking. We gotta figure it out, guys.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, no, they little ones start moving quick. They really do.
She's got some.
We're not little. I mean,
arms.
We're too adultish. That came out different than I meant it to.
So can we get on the call, please?
So I got a YouTube channel and I'm recording stuff again. That's great.
That is great. We love Night Shift Night. Definitely check him out.
That's called a redirection.
It is. It's called an awesome segue, getting us back into our announcements.
With the little 2-wheel vehicles outside.
It's almost like I'm a professional.
That is called a rabbit trail, and so we will get back to what we were supposed to be doing. So YouTube Night Shift Night. We'll put a link in the description. Subscribe, please, because Garrett is awesome. Yay. Is there anything else? Is that all of our announcements?
That's all for now.
That's it.
All right. Let's get into this. So, when last we left our heroes, oh, this does not bode well. The 11th hour. commissioned by Master Ansel Corian to find his former protege, Hari Reslin, in the Feywild. They located him in the court of the Eventide Empress. The Eventide Empress agreed to his release from her discipline if they would perform a task for her to kill this agent in her court named Glory. They succeed on this mission from the Empress, though Val is taken down by her knights in return. He is very quickly returned to life by Solyex. In the forest, after this battle, you heard a commotion of hounds, but decided to ignore it and returned to the city of Torelm, where Val had a little bit of a meltdown at the Inn of the Flaming Sword.
Sure, a little bit.
A little bit. Mild. I mean, it's not a midlife. Words. Oh my
Val
gosh.
died. There are things.
You're a death cleric.
That's called an end life crisis if you died.
I mean, you're not wrong. End life crisis.
Beginning of life crisis. Real life crisis?
He had a mushroom. It's okay.
I mean, he's not re-dead. He's not undead.
No, I still have those in my bag.
You really should have.
Anyway, so Val had a crisis, a little bit of a meltdown. Death is not nearly as pleasant or fun as he had previously thought. So Rai and Kazator went back to the castle to deliver proof of their victory. They gave it to Lady Anna, the Empress's daughter, and she asked if they were willing to agree to a meeting with a lady. This lady turned out to be Kalarin, the Carmine Calamity, who was calling herself Cece here at the court. She spoke with Kazator to, as she said, take the measure of the men who killed her niece. This conversation incited a tension between Rai and the rest of the group, and the follow-up conversations did not help. A Reslin in a box was delivered to them here at the inn.
None of this sounds good.
In the meantime, Val, your mind kept returning to the sword that you had wielded to take down Glory. You requested a negotiation to receive it. The steward of the Empress agreed to this negotiation, eventually agreeing to trade it for Cece's true name and identity. Also, you'd been hearing rumors of a quickling who had been found at the scene of Glory's murder. This quickling was brought into the city and quickly rushed through a farce of a trial, found guilty and sentenced to death. Val strongly suspected this to be his ally, who he had called to his aid. Negotiations to rescue him result in an agreement for his body, and Kazator took the shape of Rai to perform the execution. He cast Feign Death instead, and successfully, he thinks, bluffing the crowd and the Empress into thinking the execution was complete. A soldier carried his newly invisible body, the Quickling's newly invisible body, back to the inn, just to clarify. Kazator still in Rai's guise, and the group is set to reunite here at the Inn of the Flaming Sword.
And we know none of this.
Yeah.
And most of y'all know none of this happened.
Lauren,
Right?
myself and Doran, who have been sitting in a room with the dead body for a little while, has enough time passed to constitute a short rest?
Have y'all deliberately been resting? Have you been...
I mean, we've essentially been taking watch, and so if that would constitute, I've just been
Does
sitting
being
there waiting.
stressed out count as a short rest? Like, does that count as
It
not
does.
doing?
I did
Yes.
actually want to ask Doran, because I know that he had been curious about a number of the runestones, and especially about this new one that you had this idea, this sort of enlightenment about being able to carve runes into a whetstone to create a whetstone of sharpening.
That was a thing that I was
was a
on
thing.
about.
I wanted to ask if because you had talked about doing it whenever you had some downtime, and you've had essentially 6 hours or so where you have been keeping watch and just
panic
present
and
at the inn.
stress kind of pushed that out of Garrett's mind. I forgot that
which
was
is why
something.
I'm bringing it up.
Thank
Is this
you.
something? You're welcome. Is this something Doran would have been relaxed enough to start sketching out, or working with, or trying to experiment with at all?
Where is it written down in here? I thought I had it wrote down somewhere. I know I did wrote it down somewhere.
I know you
Where
wrote
did
it down somewhere. But is this something that Doran would be doing?
Potentially.
Okay.
I know I wrote it somewhere. My God, why can't I not find it? I'm good at notes. It's a good thing I'm going to go to school. I guess so. I probably would be. Yeah. I gotta. Oh God, I'm doing like too many things. What do I need to be doing to do the thing that I'm doing?
This would just be taking
If that question
your-
made any.
You're fine. This would be taking the runesmith's tools, and you could either try sketching it out and recording the runestone in some journal or notepad, or however Doran would keep track of that, to cement the knowledge in his brain, or just trying it and seeing if it worked. Like, would he? I know you've created blueprints and schematics and things in the past, but you've started to collect enough of these runestones now. It might be good to start having them written down somewhere so you don't mix them up.
Yeah. Where's my runestone papers? Here, I found it. Okay. So on my runestone stuff, I have the alchemy stone, the chaos stone, the journey stone. And that's what I've got.
That was what you've got so far.
Yeah.
You now have the runes for runes of sharpening.
I need a... Whatever. I'll use this to write on. So the rune of sharpening?
The rune of sharpening.
You ruin the sharpening?
The rune of sharpening.
Okay.
And the idea, this almost like a voice in the back of your head, is like, you could put this on a whetstone.
Yeah.
That would, you could use it on a weapon that would
Here's
make them
that.
better. Imbue some almost magical essence to sharpen and make them better at what they do. You haven't really experimented with it yet at all. You haven't really done anything with it, but you've had that idea.
Okay. So, but for what I'm writing down, it improves and makes magical whetstone. Or it will do that to a whetstone.
It'll turn a whetstone into a whetstone of sharpening. When you spend an hour using a whetstone on a weapon, it turns the weapon from a normal blade into a +1 blade. Or +1 weapon.
Forever or?
No, it has to be reapplied once a day. It's not a permanent effect.
While he's writing that down, Lauren, the sword that I got, is that a homebrew, or is that on a?
No, that's a homebrew.
Okay, I will add to my collection then.
Good deal. If I can find a pencil that works here. I've got 8 pencils in my box, and it's finally the 3rd one that I pull out that actually has lead and works.
Nice. You did say it's rapier, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
So, short rest?
Yeah, I'll permit this. A short rest. Val, are you partaking in this rest?
Val's walking in with Kasator, or Ryzator.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had gone up.
So,
I've been doing that.
so I use that on a whetstone. The whetstone becomes whetstone of sharpening. 1 hour of use makes a +1 blade.
Right.
Reapply after how long?
A long rest. The whetstone is just a whetstone of sharpening now.
Yeah.
The weapon has to be sharpened each day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool beans. I sketch out and in my notebook of runage and smithing notes that I keep, that's been a thing totally for realsies. This information. Oh shit. I'm gonna get the information from brain to paper. That's what because we gotta go. And I gotta.
Yeah, go do your thing. When you get back, make an intelligence roll and add your proficiency modifier.
Okay. To the oven.
So, short rest for everybody else. That is fine. Use your hit die. Rai, you have been writing up in your room. Is that right?
Yes, and once I finish, I probably was just sort of staring at it to see if I get any sort of response.
You do get a response very quickly. Oust is deeply offended. Just in general, but also on your behalf. He asks if you need an escape route, essentially.
Not at the moment, darling. I do believe we're heading to Dragonthrone after this, and it should hopefully be less adventuresome, and I expect the council will have some thoughts by the time I return that would give me means to leave.
You get a message back that confirms that the report has been passed on to the council, and it ends with big, dark, boldly written and underlined, circled over and over, just 2 words. Be careful.
So that was intelligence plus proficiency, not to ruin the moment?
Yes, intelligence plus proficiency.
Okay. 18 total.
18. Okay, that's a success. You have the runes recorded, written down. So this is an item that you can consistently make.
Yay! I will probably not remember to do that because I haven't been doing piss all.
Okay. It takes you a couple of hours to get it written down in a satisfactory way, so it's recorded. But you've still got probably 4 hours left before everybody else gets there. Is there anything else you want to do?
I want to leave. I want to go home. I don't want to be here.
Okay. Halberd and Solyax, you have taken your short rest. Is there anything else the 2 of you want to do?
Nope. Just waiting to leave. Sitting in the room with the dead bodies, waiting to leave. One dead body.
Remember, Reslin is not dead. He is unconscious.
He's not moving. He's dead.
You can cast Lesser Restoration.
That doesn't stop that. That would
Open
be,
his eyes. No.
Not either, because it's the box that's putting him to
Yeah.
sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not touching anything. I'm just looking at a guy in a box that's probably dead, thinking we should leave.
Okay. All right. So a number of hours passed. Val and Kazator, you come back to the inn. The guard is accompanying you with an invisible body slung over his shoulder, a very small quickling. You know you have about 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes until the Feign Death spell wears off. What are y'all doing?
Shall we take the body and part ways with our friend here before we go in?
Darling, I think that would be a marvelous idea.
So we'll take the quickling body from the guard.
Okay. Who's taking it?
Yes.
Okay, make
I'll
make
take
an
it.
make an athletics check.
That's not bad.
Oh.
That's a 16.
16. Okay, that's a success. It's a little awkward because the body is still invisible, so it's trying to get the right angle to get it from the guard and get it over your shoulder. You end up having it half slung over your shoulder, half carrying it, almost like a kid that's a little too large to really carry around. slightly awkward angle and a little tilted to one side as though you've kind of got a hunchback. But you managed to successfully, without further damaging the quickling, get him and prepare to head into the inn. The soldier does a brief salute and then turns and walks away.
As soon as he's out of sight, I'll look over at Kiss and be like, do you really want to walk in looking like that?
I do not. Which room? Do we have an empty room right now?
Yes. We have the rise room, the dead body room, and an empty room.
Okay.
2 empty rooms, because Halberd had a separate one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all had 4 rooms total.
Probably has to be.
We will take the body to an empty room where I will drop these guys.
Okay.
And then begin to gather everyone.
At this point, you've got about 5 minutes before the feign death wears off.
I'll stay with the quickling waiting for him to wake up.
Okay.
I will walk into the where Doran and Sulyex are.
Well, wonderful. You're back. Are we leaving soon? You have the scroll, yes? Still in your pocket? Check it. Pocket. Scroll.
I believe just about to prepare to leave. Where is Halberd?
You act like I can see him. I generally don't see him. He just kind of shows up next to me and I go, oh, there you are.
I don't remember where he went.
We'll come to you since you have a crate in this room.
Yep.
I'll be right back. I'll come back to Val and say, this quickling, would it be better to leave him here to fend for himself or to take him with us? I don't know about bringing him to our world or what implications. I don't know.
DM question. Would Val know whether quicklings can plane shift on their own or not?
Not usually on their own. You've never had any indication that this one in particular is capable of doing so.
Okay.
You do know that there are portals and gateways between planes that just naturally occur, especially to and from the Feywild. That's a fairly frequent and common occurrence. This is one of the most heavily traveled planes. But you're not... You don't think that this particular quickling has that innate capability on his own.
Okay.
Perhaps we should...
I'd rather wait till he wakes up and ask him if he would prefer to come with us, or if he'd like to try and make it on his own.
I didn't know if we should even offer based on your knowledge, so perhaps he might want to settle some things here before he were to venture off.
Yeah, I think we should at least do the
flight.
I think we should at least do the courtesy of giving him the option.
Certainly. Shall we gather everyone here?
If you wouldn't mind, when he wakes up, just as few people around to panic him as possible.
Certainly.
Lord, what do I remember of his personality?
Fairly pleasant for a quickling. They tend to do everything at fairly high speed. Generally pleasant, if a little chipper.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'd rather not panic him if we don't have to. So, stay close by just in case, though.
Would you mind contacting Halberd to let him know that we are reconvening here at the end?
Sure. Have you checked his room yet?
I thought we knew he was gone. I'll check his room.
We haven't been here.
I haven't left the dead body room.
I will knock on Halberd's door.
Albert, are you in your room?
Yes.
Okay, Jonathan is really quiet. I couldn't quite hear that.
Yes, I'm in my room.
Okay. So, Kazator knocks on your door.
Yes.
I'll open. Halberd, if you would like to...
James!
Been a week, okay?
Yeah. You right.
Archerman, kitty owner, what do we call you?
A guardian.
Guardian.
Don't matter.
Convene
Hey, you!
in the room with the blacksmith and the arbiter with the body in a box, we are getting ready to leave this place.
I'm not sure if Jared's gonna have an aneurysm before we leave the payphone.
Oh, 1,010%.
Body in a box, eh? What? Yeah, did you get everything you needed?
I think so. We've settled everything with Her Highness, and saved the poor quickling that we sort of helped implicate unintentionally. So I think we are about ready to go. He is going to wake up very soon, and we will be on our way, Lord willing.
Yeah, that's the hope right there. Yeah, I'll be in the room in a little bit.
All right, and I will head back to the cleric.
Okay. In the meantime, Kazator, you do feel your feign death spell reach the end of its duration.
Okay.
As you're finishing up your conversation with Halberd, Val, you see the form of this quickling where it has been, laid on the floor, sat in a chair?
We laid him on the nearby bed, cot thing, whatever we were.
About him? I believe when I feigned death myself, we said that we looked at the spell and said that they would be able to hear and sense everything that was going on, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. They couldn't see, but they could hear.
Couldn't respond, could still hear.
Because they're blinded and
Blinded.
blinded and incapacitated. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yes, we laid him on the bed, cot thingy, whatever.
All right. So you're sitting there, you're watching him, and out of nowhere, he sits bolt upright, launching himself up off of the bed. He turns and he looks at you and he says, "That was a dirty move. That was a dirty, dirty move. Our deal is complete. You owe me nothing. I owe you nothing. We are through."
And what did I do?
What did you do? What did he do? He asks. What did you do? You framed me for murder.
I did nothing.
You called me to the scene of the crime. You told me to come find you. I didn't realize you were in the midst of a murder.
Technically, when I told you to come find me, I wasn't in the midst of the murder.
Oh,
I told you to come find me the day previous, and you took an entire evening to come and find me. You did not find me until the next morning, and you didn't even find me. You found wherever you were, and we had to come save you from execution. If anything, you should be thanking my friend here. And then I'll turn
Your
and realize
friend
that
is
he's
nowhere
not
in the
right.
room.
No, I totally turn and look at like, crap. My friend that is in the other room, and for saving your life from a brutal execution.
Which I would not have been in if you had not summoned me. This is entirely fault, and I hold you to blame for it. We are done.
If you had actually found me and not just showed up willy-nilly, then you would not have been in that situation. This is entirely your fault, not mine.
I will disagree with
Blame
you.
the victim.
All
Blame
debts.
the victim.
I did not even, I told you that when you found me, I would give you a task. You have yet to complete said task. That being said though, I will make you an offer.
Make a charisma check, Jay.
Oh no!
Yes.
Not Val!
Yes.
Like straight charisma, or is this
Straight
perception?
charisma. This is no.
Great negative modifier.
This is charisma. This is how well are you making a connection with this ally?
I
That's an
natural
ally?
20, so for 19. I'm not even touching it.
I feel like that needs to be a disadvantage because he was murdered.
But I'm not wrong.
Welcome to the keep. We argue
You're
against
not
each other.
wrong, but you're not right either.
So you are, Brenda. Please.
I'll permit it to stand. You see him glare at you, and you get the sense that he's trying to take your measure, that he's trying to detect a falsehood or some something, searching for something to see how trustworthy you are. What are you doing? How are you presenting yourself that to reassure him and to make that connection?
I'm very much so I'm sitting in the chair, like kind of bedsiding this thing, because he was laying in the bed. I'm just sitting in the chair. I've got my hands nowhere near my weapons, just kind of folded in my lap, and just looking very confident, but trying to make my brain and mouth move at the same speed, which they're not used to doing. So,
Small, smooth.
yeah, Bard, I am not. Val's father, I am not. But yeah, just very this confident but reassuring air of, I am not trying to screw you over, but I'm not going to give you the opportunity to do the same to me. Or I'm not going to give you the opportunity to screw me over.
Okay. So you see a very slight relaxation in the tension he carries in his eyebrows and around his eyes, and slightly unclenches the jaw. You see he is still very stressed. You see he still is not happy with you, but he's not repudiating any and all bond that you ever had.
Now, just to be clear, I'm not trying to take advantage of you or our deal in any way, shape, fashion, or form. We are going to be leaving the Feywilds very quickly. We wanted to make sure, once we heard that you had been captured, we came back for you, made sure that you were not harmed. We went and met with the steward of the Empress, negotiated for us to be able to execute you, in which case we basically just smuggled you out of the palace, and as of right now, the entire city that was there thinks that you're dead. So I wanted to ask you, would you rather, like I said, we're about to leave the Feywild. You are more than welcome to hitch a ride with us to the material plane, or to go about your business and try and make your way on your own. I give you that option, whichever you choose.
I would not be in this situation if you had not summoned me.
What?
You got me into trouble and you got me out of it. Fine. I will accept that for now. They think I am dead because they think you killed me.
That's true.
My reputation is gone. My work, I will never be able to be back in this court. I am limited in what I can do. The damage you have done to me and my livelihood is such that I must consider our debt repaid.
Making friends everywhere.
I would still make the argument that even if I agree that I got you into trouble by summoning you, that trouble would cancel out the debt that you owed me. Getting you out of the execution, thusly, though, puts you in an entirely new debt to our service.
No. This is entirely unacceptable. I do not accept this new debt that you have created. I refuse.
It is there nonetheless.
No, it is not.
Or you could complete a small, trivial task and then be on your merry way.
And I suppose you have something in mind. Give it to me now if you wish it done.
I'll point down to the rapier and look at him and say, "This weapon has a partner. It's a dagger. How big was the dagger?"
About 12 inches, 12-inch blade.
So,
in the next room, Doran is just like cutting his own head off.
Thankfully, you don't know about this. That
Hate Jay.
currently resides in the
Sucks.
hands of the steward. If you find a way to relieve him of that blade and bring it to me, I will consider all debts repaid, and might even consider myself owing you a small favor.
Celiax feels a disturbance in the force.
Okay. This is a persuasion roll I am having you make at disadvantage because this is a big ask.
K-Store, when you showing back up in this room again?
Any moment.
This is a long conversation.
It
This
is.
like, wow.
That's a 16.
It
Like
is a
the
16.
oddity of conversation.
Okay.
It's crazy.
He looks at the sword, and you see him sort of do a double take. And he looks at you. He says, "You would have me steal the Puppet Master's dagger from within the court of the Eventide Empress, from the steward herself. That is twice in one day you're trying to kill me. No. A message, an errand. Find something within the range of our bargain."
So you do admit that you can owe me something. Very well.
I have admitted
fun.
nothing.
Would you like to come with us, or would you like to stay in the Feywilds?
I will not accompany you if I owed you 1,000 favors. Be gone. Be gone.
Very well. Best of luck with everything, and I do hope that you manage to find somewhere safe to rest your head. And I'll stand up and walk out of the room.
All right, you head on out. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, I'm good at those.
He's gonna stab you in the butt.
That would be a 26.
26. Okay. Do you speak Sylvan? Yes?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. You hear him cursing you, like not just typical curses, but may you bite your tongue, may you scald your mouth on burning liquid, may you just going on and on and on with the most minor annoyances and nuisances that you can think of. He's when you eat, may your belt always be just a little too tight. May you have the smallest of holes in your wallet so that every copper coin falls out at the most inconvenient time.
See, that just didn't get too far. Like, come on.
You're not there to get offended.
So as I'm doing this, I'll just kind of smile, pull the door shut, and look around for the crew and say, "Would anybody like to get out of here?"
We're in the dead man room.
Okay. So I'll go walk into the dead man room, seeing that nobody's around.
Isator, are you still in Rye form?
No.
Okay, you dropped that. Okay, just double checking, just making sure. So everybody's gathering in the dead box.
If I didn't go
Resident
back
in the box room, except Rye. Rye is still in her room.
if you said that he was waking up,
I'll go get her because it's time to go
Okay.
home.
Time out, because Garrett and Jordan were both talking, and I could only hear Garrett. Jordan, what were you saying?
you said that he was waking up about the time I was talking to Halberd. So in that time, after I talked to Halberd, I would have gone and gotten Rye.
Okay. So Rye, Cazador comes and knocks on your door.
Not in the right room.
Yes.
Miss Rye, we are about to exit this plane.
Ames!
Librarian, we are about to exit this plane. If you would care to join us in the other room, we are gathering everyone to leave as quickly as possible.
Especially because you got your name got last time, remember?
This week.
How you forget this?
Oh, it's doing so good.
I'm gonna pull out my spellbook while I'm standing there and open it up and start to cast Nystel's Magic Aura. And
Okay.
the figure of an elven woman rises up, and I curtsy to her, and she curtsies to me and hands me her cloak. And I will put it on and give myself the mask of an elven woman for anyone who might try and detect an infernal creature.
As new.
Okay, what is the spell called again?
Nystel's magic aura.
Isol's Magic Aura. Got it. Cool, cool, cool. This is not a spell I'm familiar with. This is exciting. So the mask.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the charm?
Okay. Okay. Good to know. And it lasts for 24 hours.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Help me remember that. If it becomes relevant.
Okay.
What do you look like now?
She still technically looks like a tiefling, but I will go ahead and put on my disguise pendant.
Okay.
And I will head over there.
So
Okay.
for all intents and purposes, you are an elf to any type of sensor.
I believe it also
Just making sure
any spell and magical effects treats her as if she was a creature of that type. Oh.
That's freaking awesome.
Oh, that'll okay. Good deal. So y'all are all gathered back in the room with the Reslin in a box.
R.I.P.
Everybody
nice
has
knowing y'all.
gathered. What are y'all
Time
doing?
to leave.
Or you have the scroll.
I am ready to take us back. Should we transport Mr. Reslin asleep or awake?
Again with names.
Would Rye or I know if that's possible?
He's
Or
just a
or Casador, either of us?
creature.
The
Right.
three of y'all make Arcana checks.
Big money! Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey, nice.
22.
20.
18.
Yeah, all three of y'all know that either way is acceptable.
I say
You do know that all of the participants who travel via this spell should be touching. If you're not casting it as specifically adapted like the way you got here, if you're not all touching, even if it takes effect, y'all might all be split up like you were on arrival.
Well, also considering the fact that I'm not sure where we're going to be ending up, I don't know that having a man in a box is going to be the best idea if we end up in the middle of Dragonthrone.
I can confirm that.
All right, I'll cast Dispel Magic on the box.
Okay. Is the lid back on, or have y'all taken that off?
No, it was off.
That would have been off the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, increase
Very
the more.
disturbing for Reslin.
So you cast spell magic targeting the sleeping effect?
Yes.
Yes?
I'm assuming that the runes around it are what is causing the sleeping effect.
Yeah, you can assume that.
Did we investigate that last week or no? I don't remember.
Basically said
Not
start to fall
really.
asleep.
You put your hand in, you saw some runes light up, you felt the wave of sleepiness, and you correlated the two. You haven't really looked at the runes, but you
Okay,
can-
yeah, I'll
you
dispel.
guessed.
Yeah, I'll dispel the sleepy effect.
Okay.
It's
You dispel the sleeping effect.
that much mystery.
Reslin, slowly, his eyes sort of flutter open. He is lying down. Y'all are all sort of sitting or standing around him, looking at him, and he's just
I
blinking
offer to help him
curiously.
up out of the box.
He accepts your help. You see his hands are trembling a little bit as he reaches out towards you. And his voice is very hoarse as he says, "Mighty kind of you."
I will also, Lauren,
We've been
reach
through it,
down
Mark.
and, like, with Doran on one side, I'll be on the other side and lift him up. And as I'm lifting him up, I'll do 10 points of lay on hands into him.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a technical question, Lauren.
Yes.
with Jay initially saying he targets the box, with the spell magic being able to target an object, if there's more than one effect, it wouldn't necessarily dispel all the effects of that object, correct?
Correct. It targets an effect, essentially, if I remember the spell correctly.
Does it choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range? So I guess my question would be, I would understand that if there was multiple and he targeted an object, it wouldn't dispel like everything on that object necessarily. But would he know that there's more one and then have to like arcanely target one of the effects?
Like in this particular case, he targeted the sleeping effect. So yes. And Kazator, you know that there are ways to, when you grow proficient with certain spells, to be able to slightly alter them, if you can clear it with the DM ahead of time. Such as you've heard rumors of a powerful mage in a distant coastal city, back on your homeworld, actually. He'd been able to modify the Dispel Magic spell to have a radial effect, so that anything within a small radius of his person, if it was less than a certain level of power, was dispelled. So
Okay.
you know that modifications like that are possible. This is not one that you have seen in person before, though.
My question was as a player, because you asked specifically, he said the object, then you specified the effect, and that made me nervous. So I was just curious if his character would know if there were multiple effects and had to target one or not. So
you don't have to know if there are multiple effects or not if you're going for removing a specific thing.
right, okay. As good.
Kazator, just what a wordsmith thought we're about to leave. Would it be better to have either the librarian or the cleric cast the spell, you inspire them, and I could give them a little magic enhance to make this all happen a lot easier?
That sounds like a great idea.
Can you inspire anybody today?
I can, and I'm not opposed to that train of thought.
As y'all are doing this, you do note Reslin sort of, now that he's sitting up and becoming more and more aware of himself, sort of looking around, and he's like, wait a second, that's not mine. And it's a bandolier that has been slung over his shoulder and a pouch at his waist, and he's just like, huh, that's weird.
We've lifted him out of the box at this point, yes?
Let me go examine that.
Okay, make an
Wanna take a
investigation
closer
check.
look?
I mean, the way you said the line, is he like drunk or something, or is
Not
it just
drunk.
'cause he's tired?
He is very, very tired. Like, he is slouched. His body all has like
Which
a very
is-
downward cast. He is like, his head is just hanging low. There is like no energy to his body at all.
18.
18. You look at it, you investigate it. To all like outward appearance, it looks to be a sack full of coin. Like, it is bulging around the edges with some sort of coin.
Do they look like normal coin?
Nobody's like, have you opened it up? Have you
Yes, I'm
looked
slowly
inside it?
opening it up. I'm telling the people just space.
I mean,
I'll go ahead and look in it.
Yeah. You,
mean,
you open
if
it
you
up,
knew
you
it
look
was
at it. It is a sack full of gold. There is a piece of paper folded on set at the top, sort of laid over it.
I'll grab it and open it up.
What language is it written in?
It's written in Elvish.
Cool.
I assume our elf reads Elvish.
That would be funny.
I'm illiterate. No, go ahead.
It reads, an expression of the Empress's satisfaction at a job well done.
To whom it may concern.
It's blood money.
I mean, yeah.
Well, we should take it off this person.
Do what you want with it. I want nothing to do with it.
Well, I'll grab it off of him and just sling it on my shoulder or something.
Okay.
All right.
It is a fairly hefty sack.
Neat.
It's 1,000,000 gold.
Who
Not quite that hefty.
who wishes to be the one to return us back?
Start the car. Everyone get in.
I don't mind if, unless librarian, you would prefer
Go
to.
potty before we leave.
If you need me to.
Just we're gonna be 6 and 1, half a dozen the other.
Right. Then whoever wants to, I will cast enhance ability on. So I guess I'll do you, cleric.
Or why not?
You are wisdom, yes.
Yeah.
So I will cast Al's wisdom on you. Give you advantage on wisdom checks.
I will inspire him with a D10.
Nice.
How are you
Waiting.
going to inspire him?
I have like half a melody in my head, and I'm trying to.
We will wait.
Well, it's freaking.
Wait for it.
Is it?
I just hear this like melody of like we're going home, going home, going home from musical Eurydice and Orpheus.
Hades Town.
Hades Town. Thank you.
No, I gotcha. I was tracking with you.
Appreciate it.
Um,
I can
Morpheus
hear
is from the
going
Matrix. What are
So
y'all
we're
talking
going
about?
home chorus. Can
Orpheus.
presentation do voices?
Sure, why not? We'll say that it can in this particular case because I like the idea. Go.
Okay, so there's just a chorus of "We're going home" in the
Cool.
style of Hades Town. Sure.
All right, I will start casting after I've been inspired. I will start casting the.
You have been inspired.
Everybody hold hands.
The haunting melody rings through your mind as you prepare to cast the spell.
Stand next to
I'm
me.
holding
You
hands.
said D10, right?
D10.
We're all holding hands because we all love each other.
We tolerate each other.
I mean, I was trying to be
now. We're all holding hands.
All standing in a big circle, holding hands.
Just Jack.
All right.
All right.
That's
I cast spell.
Okay. The DC for this is a 17 because it is a 7th level spell, and you're not quite able to reach that level yet. So, you unroll the scroll. It takes a moment for the script to start making sense in your mind. You see the runes and the symbols and the magic that is imbued in it, and as you start channeling your magic into activating it, the ink seems to start to take on this purple glow, very reminiscent of the magic from the Temple of Ayun that brought you here. You see this fog almost, this light start to rise from the scroll as you begin to incant it. It starts to swirl and circle around you. What is your roll?
It is. Why you switch dice?
400.
I've been using that dice. I've been using the middle dice. This is what got me my natural 20. Okay. Quit your griping.
Do you have advantage?
You have advantage. Use the D10 if you need to.
You only have it for 10 minutes, so.
Might as well. Okay.
3.
That would be a 30.
Okay.
What's your roll? 19?
I rolled a 17, then an 18, and then an 8.
What's going home? Ow!
Right. As everybody is standing encircled with Val in contact, the light begins to spread. It forms over Val like a shell almost encircling him and spreads through his arms to his hands and slowly around the circle. Within a brief moment, all of you are surrounded. The light begins to glow brighter and brighter, and there's almost an auditory hum, reminiscent of the music that Kazator had used to inspire him, building and building until it's echoing. You feel the air vibrating with it until it glows too bright. You have to blink it away from your eyes. You feel a tug, almost a pinch between your shoulder blades. And as your eyes begin to clear, I need everybody except Halberd and Rye to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh!
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know which one to pick. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's roll this one in. Let's go. Oh my god. That's probably bad.
What? Are we adding anything or straight roll? What did you say? I'm sorry.
The wisdom saving throw.
Everybody's technically within 10 feet of me, yes?
True.
So
Right,
what
Lauren?
does that do?
How small of a circle are y'all doing? I feel like, yes, they would probably all be within
I mean,
10
for us
feet
to
of you.
stand just holding hands, I would think so. Just sort of in
It's
10
a giant group hug!
I mean, I have
my team.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know if the time-space continuum separates anybody, but everybody will get a +4 to whatever they rolled. So,
You know what? I'll permit it. I will permit
Thank
it.
you.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Oh, dear.
so I rolled a 3, so that's a 13.
13. All right. Doran?
Dang it! If Rye
I
rolled and forgotten everything.
I rolled a 6 and got a 10.
Okay.
Very important counts.
Okay, Zator?
16.
Okay. Val?
That would be a 26.
Yeah, if Rock forgot everything, that would be choice.
You already won the council too, though, so it's.
Yeah. Halberd and Rye, the two people we want them to forget everything, are two people who won't.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yep.
As the
Oh.
light begins to dim from your eyes, you start to be able to take in your surroundings. Doran,
Hello.
you're looking in an entirely unfamiliar place. There's a brief moment where a wave of confusion passes over you. You're looking around. You see your friends with you. You're in a valley within the mountains. You see the stonework around you, and you blink, and it's like there's a lurch in your mind, and you're like, oh right, Feywild. We just got back. Okay. Now you get what's going on. You see everybody standing around you.
Mm-hmm.
You are in like I said, in a valley,
Yeah.
a narrow path, and everybody else sees this too. You were
Like
just
Grand Canyon looking doing.
smaller, significantly smaller than that.
But that's the aesthetic we're talking about, yes?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
So the DC for this was 10.
Dang.
So there was a heartbeat where for a moment this wave of confusion washed over you and you couldn't remember what you were doing. And then this mental lurch and you're like, oh, okay, no, I've got it. And you resist the effect.
It's my Christmas dice, Lauren. It's
Aw.
my Christmas dice.
You're
Yeah.
welcome for that, Lauren.
It gave me a 6.
So everybody, Reslin included, is still together.
Good.
You're taking a look around you. You are up in the mountains. It is cold. There's a cold breeze that is blowing. You're in this valley, and as you look, it seems almost as though there's a path that leads up into the mountain a little further, and then a path that leads slightly downslope to where there's a steep cutoff, where you can the sky opens up before you. You see the ocean in the distance, and as you approach downslope, you look down the mountain and you can see a vast, beautiful city in tiers, sort of four.
Don't be sad.
I love
Four
the same thing.
significant tiers. TIERS. Okay. Y'all know what I mean. I will
Yeah.
literally spell it out if I have to. Carved of gray and an almost greenish stone, set in layers, as though the beautiful gilded temple at the highest point of the city is like the pinnacle of a cake almost. It is picturesque in its beauty. You see silver and blue banners flapping in the wind. You see a wide bay open at the foot of the city with various ships coming to dock into the harbor. You see the arms of land reaching out and circling this bay, and 2 towers. I promise I'm not intending all of the Lord of the Rings references. Of dragonborn figures.
Cool.
Two dragonborn figures standing facing each other, arms outstretched, swords lifted, extending towards each other, almost as though saluting for the beginning of a duel, to guard the entrance to this bay that comes in. You see the sprawling city streets sloping, built into the mountainside, stretched down before you. And as you guys are taking in this view, you feel a rumbling under your feet and hear a loud female voice from behind you call, "Careful! Watch out!" What are y'all doing?
Spin.
I look
Turning
to see
around.
what it is.
Duck.
You spin,
Dodge that
you
arrow.
look. You see emerging from the ground 2 large predators, insect-like almost. They're 4-legged, emerging up from the ground, long claws tearing the earth away. It was this rumbling that you felt. What are y'all doing? Are you going to
Do we
fight?
see who yelled?
Yeah,
do we see
looking
who
for
yelled
the
at
voice,
us?
like sword out, ready to fight, trying to spot the voice before we just hack whatever these are to bits.
Make a perception check.
Do I recognize this creature, Lauren?
Do I recognize this voice?
You do not recognize this voice. No, I don't think you recognize this creature.
Okay, because there's
Is she
14.
saying? Oh,
She has said, "Be careful, look out."
well, the tone. I was going to ask more of the tone. Is it kind of like a general, "Hey, look out," or more of a panicked, "Oh my God, you're about to get eaten"? Look out.
Where is she talking to?
Not quite panicked, but urgent.
And
Alright.
our immediate surroundings, are we in a building?
No, you are out in the
Yeah.
open. You're there's
Okay.
a drop off a cliff in front of you, and you can see down and maybe a mile distant, stretching along the length of the base of the mountain, is the city you think Dragonthrone, based on what you are doing.
Well,
Off
Lauren,
the cliff.
do I know Dragonthrone? I would think.
Yes, you recognize Dragonthrone. You're
And
very
then
familiar
behind
with
us,
its
so
lyrics.
in front of us,
Behind
cliff.
us.
Behind us.
Behind you is a valley leading slightly uphill, deeper into the mountains, and it is
But-
from that direction that the
This ledge we're standing on, what's the width we're talking about here? Is it like, we're obviously on some type of ledge or something.
Mhm. It's about 30 feet wide at this point. It's a very sheer drop off extending down over 100 feet. There is a path that winds a little ways to the west towards the city. And then the valley that is up ahead. You can see down the path a little bit, maybe 150, 200 feet or so. There's a creek and a small waterfall that cuts through this this path, and a very rough-hewn bridge that leads over it. Yes, Rai.
You said there's 2 of them,
Yes, 2 of these creatures,
and I can see them.
and you can see them.
I'm gonna
Are they-
cast Charm Monster with Split Enchantment. They need to make Wisdom saving throws.
Okay, we will let that happen, and then we will roll initiative. We'll see.
I did have a
Perception
question.
checks to see if you can see the source of the voice.
26.
14.
26, 14.
Yeah, 14.
26.
I don't. Crap, I don't know which number.
Okay, so that's 2 26 and a 14.
Mhm.
Kazator, Rai, were y'all looking at all?
I was focused on them.
I was
Monsters?
looking
Okay.
at- I was.
I mean, I rolled a 14.
Okay. And
I was
Kazator?
looking at the 2 things coming, and what I was going to ask is if the group still looks like decently beat up since we haven't rested, I just wanted to know if there was any large boulders in the area, especially between, like, going towards that path you said that was leading away.
The further up the path, there's some decent sized rocks. I wouldn't necessarily call them boulders. Up the sides of the valleys, farther into the mountains, there are some much larger rocks that look a little less stable. But doing anything with that might put y'all in the path a bit too, because that's rolling right downhill towards you.
Right. I wasn't thinking about
The rocks are rolling down?
The smaller,
Not yet.
smaller ones are like, you know, as big as us, or
No, like head sized or slightly larger.
okay, and those are nearer
I hate
to
that
like
you
the start
said
of that.
head-sized.
Mm-hmm. For those of y'all with 26, there is a brief sort of ephemeral silvery form that shifts and moves and is not completely tangible. You're not quite sure. It seemed roughly humanoid in shape.
Looking at that form, pets of yours?
We will go ahead and get to that in just a moment. The charm monster with the split enchantment.
I'm gonna post up and protect Raslin since he's in doo-doo shape.
Yeah, he's not in good shape.
Yeah, you and I are still
Because-
flanking him.
because-
So.
Yeah, like
That is
shield.
going to be... Wisdom, you said?
Yes.
That's a 10 on one and a 16 on the other.
Both fail.
Okay, they both fail. They are both charmed by you. As these large creatures with these long claws digging out of the ground and these oversized, almost turtle-like heads with an extended, elongated jaw emerge from the ground, you can see their backs are heavily armored with a slightly duller, leathery look to their underbelly. And they turn and they look at you, and it seems like there's a brief diminishing of their aggression, where there's like a, wait, this may not be dinner, and there's a pause there. What are you doing?
Because they should be friendly to me, right?
I'm looking.
Go home. Just
Charm or
leave us.
dominate?
It's charmed, but
It's charmed until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. It's friendly to you.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a diminishing in the aggression, and it looks towards you, and there's not this immediate yummy sort of gleam in their eye.
What are we doing here?
I vote we get out of here.
Yes, might as well keep going.
Do we really want to start fighting since some of us are hurt?
Because that's the only way out.
Not.
There are three ways you can go. You can go along the ledge where it narrows to a very narrow goat trail. You can go back towards the waterfall where there's a rough bridge. It looks like it's up to the city, and then there's the wider valley that leads up, and that's the direction of the silvery
Go off the cliff,
humanoid ephemeral figure.
straight to the city.
Ryan, how long does your magic last on these things?
I think it's an hour. Let me check.
All right.
It's an hour.
Can you at least send them away?
Can you tell them to go home or not eat us as we walk by?
Yes, please.
I can talk to them. I don't know if they can understand me.
At this point, this silvery ephemeral figure drifts a little bit closer, and as it comes within 30, 25, 20 feet, you're able to start making out more details.
Divine sense.
Divine sense?
Mhm.
Let me... Or read it to me.
Celestial
What is this?
fiend undead.
What do I get from my nervous sense?
Is it
Anxiety.
celestial fiend to undead?
Okay. You sense both celestial and undead, and you get a sense of hallowedness to this figure. This reminds you very much of the feel you got from Czar.
Oh boy.
As you approach and you're able to start making out more details, this figure comes into view, and she's translucent. You can see right through her. You see an armored dragonborn figure who approaches. It's hard to make out any sense of color. It's hard to make out a whole lot of detail because her form is very wispy.
So as she gets closer, I look at it and say, "Are you Asha?"
Czar has been telling tales, I see.
Yeah, that one likes to talk. It's a little interesting.
He always has.
Are we close to your place of dwelling here? You said something about a mountain, but I must admit I'm not well traveled. Are we close or no?
Still some ways distant. This is...
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Slayek Lockskoth.
I am aware.
I think you know that already.
Indeed.
These are my
This
companions.
is a pleasure to meet you.
Great pleasure to meet you.
The dwarf bows because, like, this is an important person, and I don't want to be rude.
So, I don't know how far you can travel, but could you walk and talk as we leave these creatures?
This is the limit of where I may go. I may not travel any closer to the city.
Of course not. I have so many questions.
Is there a way closer to the away from the city that will eventually lead us down there?
There are several if you choose to take them.
Is there one that we could walk with you that will head in that direction? We might walk and talk and not lose you.
It is a slight detour from your path, a more roundabout way.
I feel like that might be worth it to have a conversation with you.
I agree.
As you will. Though I must warn you, I am limited in what I can say. I am bound by certain rules. But I'm here to aid you if I can.
Hated rules.
You'll be very welcome. Well, lead the way.
Very well. She gestures for you to follow her. We're going to take a brief break and be right back to pick up here in this moment. Yes.
As we're leaving, I'm gonna try and shoo them away in the direction opposite of that we're going. I don't know that it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it.
I'm gonna be on, guard duty so we don't die.
As you approach, you see one of them start to put its head down, and its jaw sags open a little bit, and an oddly wide, like broad but pointed tongue starts to sort of loll out the side of its mouth, and it looks up at you and just tilts its head and just...
Well done, Miss Rye. Well done.
Scratch under the chin. Yes. Now shoo. Off with you.
It takes its head a little bit and then turns and starts to burrow back into the earth the way it came. There's a brief loud rumbling that very quickly diminishes as the two burrow deeper into the earth. So we are going to go ahead. We'll pause there. We'll be right back. Thank you, guys.
After these important messages.
Seriously?
Right, jumping back in. Thank you for sticking with us. Okay.
Oh.
So you are walking with Asha up a little deeper into the valley. The cold wind blows through here. Dragonthrone recedes from view behind you as you leave the sort of lookout point.
Assuming he had told us that is Dragonthrone.
Yeah. As we got a little bit further away, so the city back there, that's my home.
I will say it is the largest city y'all have seen on this world yet.
Oh,
What
yeah.
time of day is it?
Like the sausage.
Late afternoon.
Okay.
Val,
Evening, still.
Yeah.
We actually didn't leave.
How would you so dead?
Val, you do see an almost full moon overhead. It's late enough that the moon has come up slightly before the sun sets, and you can see that it is almost full.
Based on my
Moon knowledge.
Well, I was gonna say. I was like, how to phrase this without making it
sense.
sound like I'm talking about butts. On knowledge of the moon and its phases, how long has passed since we entered the Feywild?
I mean, the moon was almost full when you left. It's almost full now.
That could be good or bad.
So either a very long time or very little time.
We came back at the same time of month. With the almost full moon and our close encounter, can I perception check to see if Val's getting fuzzy? Furry.
Sure, make a perception check.
Interesting.
So they're like, wait, what?
I just want to make sure he's not getting furry. 28.
Val is
I
not
mean,
a furry.
there is a little bit more stubble than usual on his chin.
Bless his heart.
I shoot it. Silver deer.
Don't worry, you'll grow a full beard in no time.
But you're not noticing anything particularly worrisome. But the sun is still in the sky, and it's not quite a full moon yet. You'll have to see how irritable he is over the next couple of days to see if it's actually that time of the month.
I'll keep it.
As we're walking, I'll pull out my journal real quick just to write a note to Aus, mark the date we return to the material plane.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Also, while we're walking, since we're all sending messages and checking things, I'm gonna send a quick message to Sarai and just saying, Sarai, quick question. We're on our way to Dragonthrone. How long has it been since we contacted you last?
Okay. So she responds, Dragonthrone has grown dangerous in the last month since I've heard from you. Be cautious as you arrive.
Radical.
That's crap.
As we're walking, how is Reslan looking? Is he looking like he's okay to walk, make this trek with us, or what's...
He's stumbling, he's moving slowly, he's falling farther and farther towards the back of the group.
I think I'm helping him along. I'm
Which is
tall
really
enough.
the only reason why y'all aren't just leaving him in your dust.
Yeah.
So, I have good news and bad news.
Good.
Well, it's actually more bad news than bad news.
Great.
So, we've been gone a month.
Great. Just great.
And according to Sarai, the
So, you talked to her?
city, yes, according to Sarai, the city has grown dangerous. Don't have more details than that at the moment because I'm not a spellcaster.
Oh, great. Even better.
Oh, well, Asha. So many questions. I guess we'll start with, what can you tell me of what's currently going on? Do you know what's happening with the Brotherhood, descendant of Tiamat, any of that? Thar didn't seem to be fully aware of what is going on in the outside world, really outside of his temple. The whole statue thing is a thing. But, are you aware of what's going on in the world somewhat currently?
Many current events escape my attention. I am bound to this region,
Right.
to guard it specifically. I know that things are not as simple as they appear.
You never are.
Took the words out of
That
my
is the
mouth.
truth.
Right. Well, here's the Reader's digestion system. So,
Digestion system.
Say that one more time, Wes.
Yield.
it's essentially how this breaks down is organization known as the Brotherhood is actually a secret cult for Tiamat. They are attempting to bring her, I think, I don't know, possibly back. However, her direct descendants, all 5 of them, we've had encounters with 3 now, I believe. none of them ended well. We have encountered the Ebonwrath, we saw the Carmine Calamity and the Feywild, and we had a run-in with the Alabaster Ruin, and another town when he attempted to kidnap the Oracle of Bahamut's brother that we were able to stop. And now my cleric friend Sarai has taken the Oracle and her brother to Dragonthrone. That was about 3 months ago. That was a little while ago. But apparently things in Dragonthrone have gone very bad. People aren't trusting of the Oracle. Like, I don't know. Apparently it's bad. Sarai has asked me to return to Dragonthrone to lend aid. This is what I'm attempting to do. We just teleported back from the Feywild to here. You said, looked out. We turned around. Right trying to be thanked, by the way, by the tiefling. He's good. I have questions for you about how that works. And then we came here, we saw you, you said, looked out, we followed you. Very loose breakdowns.
Very loose. I get that.
Also, impressive.
Well done, sir.
You saw as you were talking, especially about the scions of Tiamat, and you mentioned the Carmine Calamity, that her left arm, her shield arm, had been, previously just hanging at her side, and she sort of grabs her cloak and draws it over her arm. You realize it's completely armored. There's a glove at the end. You haven't actually seen that arm. You haven't seen it move. So you see her sort of adjust her cloak over that as you mentioned the Carmine Calamity, and as you're moving forward, she says, "This is of great concern if they're moving again."
I think bad. I think the word is bad. Bad.
Very bad.
Right.
It might just be detail, but history has also been altered to change the way things were presented.
Right.
History has always been written by the victors.
Well, see, that's kind of the problem.
What does history tell you about who has truly won?
Fun fact. Again, remember how I said Czar statue thing? So we had been told that you didn't exist and Czar was the arbiter. Because, yeah. So I discovered this, was very upset about it, where some of the things we're going to be taking back is how wrong that is, because, so descendants of Tiamat, after you did your wonderful thing, were hunted down very wrongly, and then it got very much out of hand. And so pretty much anything that wasn't a chromatic or wasn't metallic was hunted down and exterminated. I'm attempting to rectify and fix all of this by taking it to... Were you good at politics? Were you good at that?
I did not have the temperament for it.
Oh,
I am aware of the purge.
Oh, good. Oh, well. So part of the things we're correcting is that you actually did exist. Working on fixing that. Gonna do that. Second thing we're working on is making it so that, that the Magic Dragonborn and half-orcs and my friend here can walk around without fear of me. That's a thing.
You realize this will be the work of a lifetime.
I got a few years left. Or like 2 minutes. I don't know.
You will have as long as Bahamut wills it.
Easy.
That's about what I got. Already died once, came back, maybe I can do it again. Vampires, nasty business.
You have the favor of the gods on your side, then.
Hopefully.
Maybe this will work out.
Fingers crossed.
You're not the first. Not the first to try this.
I'm not sure if that's reassuring or not.
It would be not, darling. It's not reassuring.
Yeah.
Where's the Brisbane?
Gathering momentum sometimes takes some time, but once you get the ball rolling.
Right. So if it tried before and failed, how did it fail?
I
Have you
assume
heard
we're
of-
still walking, by the way.
Yes,
we're
you're still walking. You're heading along the stony path through the valley. It's uphill, so y'all are moving a bit slower. And especially with Reslin, if you're keeping him with the group, he is huffing and puffing, and
I'm like
you're assisting him halfway carrying his weight, just bringing him along with the group.
Registering that we're out of the Feywilds, I'm going to bring Nightbane out and put Reslin on Nightbane.
Okay.
hey.
That will
Big
definitely
bird.
assist. So as that happens, you're able to pick up a little bit more speed, but y'all are still moving slower than you normally would because it's rocky terrain. The wind is cold. You're heading actually up deeper into the mountains, higher towards the capped peaks. And as y'all are going and as y'all are having this conversation, the wind is getting colder and colder.
Question. Yes. I'm not a trusting person, so the more they talk, do I get the sense this is actually Asha, or is this like one of those creepy, this isn't who you said you were, kind of like Rye not being Rye when she kills a guy that she doesn't kill? Do I get the feeling that things are right or not?
Make an insight check.
17.
17? There's nothing about the situation that seems to strike you as inherently wrong. And there's nothing that she has said, no inconsistency in how she has presented herself thus far.
Not to mention, we're trying to. Never mind. Never mind.
Using knowledge of deathy things, do I get the feeling that this spirit is similar to Zar, or is it something different?
I don't know. Do you have any ability or any spell that would give you particular insight into this?
I mean, not really. Just knowledge of deathy things. Actually, I think I do. Let's see if I have that one prepared.
Well, that would do it.
What I thought. Come on.
Jokes.
I started to type and then
based in truth.
detect evil and good. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that would just tell me if she's an undead. I kind of figured that's a well done moment. I'm looking more along the lines of type of spirit she may be.
The spooky kind.
So you can make an insight check?
That'd be a 24.
24. How she's been carrying herself, what she's been saying, the general feel of what she's been telling you is consistent with what Zar has told you in the past. You do notice that her left arm is very stiff, unmoving, oddly, as though it just hangs from her body. And she keeps it mostly covered by this very spectral, ghostly cloak. Her body is, as y'all move away from the city and a little deeper into the mountain, her body is becoming slightly more solid. There is a slight tinge of color to her, but it's still very faint. Just the slightest of glimmers of what you can see she might once have been.
I mean, but very much red dragonborn like skull. Right.
Yeah, that's consistent. Yeah.
We've not the history that's been written down, being changed, but from seeing the carvings and the reliefs in Zelasar's tomb, we've got ideas of what happened long ago. But what really happened? What is the real truth?
There was war.
I mean, we got that part. I mean,
My lord fought bitterly against the Queen of Dragons. She tried to claim this land for her own. So many refugees had come from the southern continent. So many fleeing their doom, to arrive with new hope in this land, and then for it to be so quickly embroiled in battle. Tiamat was allied with infernal forces. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish. I know my family were farmers before I was called to Bahamut's service. And upon completion of my training, I was ordained to be his arbiter. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what I was called to do. But I realized that not all was not right in how people treated each other and what the church was doing. I gathered friends along the way. If you've been to Zar's tomb, you know about Fiera, Koa, and Dantris and their deaths. You've seen them pass. You found their tombs. We fought against these 5 that you mentioned, Tiamat's children. They were her generals. They led her forces. And there were others who were allied with her. There were moments I thought we were going to be overrun. We eventually captured or banished or dealt with these 5 generals, her children, sons and daughters of Tiamat, in one way or another. All that was left was the queen herself. There was a ritual that was prepared to send her and her generals back to the Hells, to trap them there, to leave them there. And it was successful. Well, so we thought. Hearing what's been done in the intervening years, I can't help but wonder if her children coming back, the ritual was not as successful as we wished it to be.
Well,
How did you come across this information? What have you found?
Oh, what have we found? Well, they seem to be working across different worlds. We're attached to an organization known as a Sanctum that allowed us to travel from one world to the next.
Yes, which one?
Oh, I don't know. Well,
I'm from the library.
Oh.
Has not a name yet.
oh, right. Ballard did something. He was involved in the creation or something along the lines of making sanctums.
Let's go with the fact that she already knows about the sanctums.
Right. Ballard. What's your what was his name?
I
And
call
our-
them the Sproutings from the pendant.
Oh,
She drifts a little closer, and you can see her peer at one of the pendants. It's like, it does suit.
Baylor, the Elven Archer.
Yes.
Yes. So we got linked up with one of these. We found Alabaster Ruin here, like on this continent, walking around disguised as a man, disguised as a half dragon, just disguised as an ancient white dragon. And then on another world, we found the Elvenrath in a tower.
You found her there and escaped with your lives?
Well, yes.
There may be hope for you yet.
Curious, back when you dealt with her, was she attempting experiment mutations and something of committing
vile atrocities to strengthen her forces? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay.
Alchemy has always been her domain.
Does she have to clap or just use the chalk? Or... That was a
There-
joke.
She was still working on that, and then in the Feywild is where we saw the Carmine Calamity. We haven't seen the other two. Don't know what world or plane or anything they exist on. As far as we know, their mother still remains in the hells, but our sanctum was attacked by what we believe to be devils, at the working of at least some of her children. So that's where we found one of the leaders of our sanctum was in Vesvina's town. She had her. We saved her, barely got out. Things were not good, but they seem to be targeting at least our sanctum. I don't know anybody else.
What have they taken from your sanctum?
Oh, I haven't been back.
Books, people.
When we were attacked, there were forces, a mixed variety of creatures. The partner of our sanctum basically shoved the connection journals in the hands of several of the runners, myself included, and in my case, quite literally, shoved us through a portal. We had to, during the transport, I know for myself, I was separated from the journals, and from what I gather, so were the others. We've begun to collect them, but we're
Wait.
still holding several.
These journals. These are what anchor the pathways between planes.
I'll open the pouch and just pull out one. Yes,
The iron box of awesomeness.
Yes.
You see her stiffen, and her shoulder sort of just sag. It's like, that would do it. These would give them the power, the ability. Don't you see?
Oh, I see. I see now. I definitely. Put two and two together and come up 5. How many do they need?
I don't know.
I'm comforting.
As many as they can get their hands on, I would assume. How many do they have?
Yep. Good question.
Unfortunately, we're not entirely sure. As I said, all of us were separated. We've recovered. Oh gosh.
You can't message Lyran, can you, today?
No, I can.
Rissa? That's her name. Good question to ask them. How many are missing still?
You know,
Val, by opening that box, are you not setting off a beacon to our location?
I literally opened it up, pulled it out, shoved it back in.
We're continuing to walk. Also, slight question. We're in desperate need of some good sleepy times.
I can guide you to a safe place to rest.
That would be wonderful.
I like you
You've
even
been
more
to
now.
Feywild. It's a terrible place.
It is dangerous. There's no place without its risk. If
Nope,
you know
that
how to
place is
manage
good.
it, the Feywild is difficult, but not unsafe.
It is the worst. Right. If you wouldn't mind, we could definitely use a little bit of rest. Got a long endeavor, but if you could message Rissa or Lyran, one of them, perhaps they could give us an idea of how many books are still lost to the Nethers. And then perhaps we might be able to answer some of these questions. I'm curious. You aided in the destruction of Tiamat, yes? It's you.
Yes.
How do we get from you defeating Tiamat and her children to the Purge?
There were so many of us that were lost in the ritual and claimed so many lives, and I don't know. There was some 150 years before I was really aware of what was happening outside of my domain. I don't know what happened.
Right. I don't know. Given your spectral form, a couple things. One, It seems like you recognize this. I pull out the sword. Also armor as well. You recognize this?
Mhm.
Yes. Gift
I
from
do.
Dar. When we got it, he seemed to dissipate. I don't know how to. Are you okay? Are you trying to dissipate? I don't know what's going on.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fulfilling my duty.
Excellent. Are you in contact with Bahamut at all? Here's my
Okay.
question. Who can we trust in Dragonthrone? Who's aligned? Who actually is following what we need to be doing? Has he told you? Do you know? Do you know how I can find out?
On rare occasions, he deigns to speak to me. I don't know. The city has long been veiled to my sight.
Okay.
I would take that as a sign that we can't really trust much of anyone there.
Nope. That's kind of my thought is I'm not really trusting anybody.
Albert, you're rubbing off on me.
That's not a bad thing, mate.
I think Albert
Yeah.
rubbed off on all of us at this point.
It's kept you alive.
No.
All right. So, don't trust anybody in Dragonthrone. For something, maybe Sarai. I trust Sarai. She seems fairly good.
Sarai?
Is she not? Should I not? You seem hesitant.
No. You say her name differently.
No, I don't.
As you will.
say her name differently.
Insight check on no, I don't.
Sure,
Is that
roll an
insight
insight check. Roll a persuasion or deception check, as you will,
See
Stoliax.
what's happening.
Does the
They
Dragonborn
don't have a clue.
What'd you get?
24.
Yeah, well, that's me. No, I don't.
Oh, Jesus. So, as we were saying, question for a place to get some good sleep times.
So over the next 30 minutes or so, Asha leads you down or up the path and onto a side trail. It looks kind of like a goat trail, just very, very narrow and leading, winding up into the mountains. There are a couple places where you literally kind of have to climb up and over and around in order to get to where you're going.
get behind what's his name and push to help him get up there?
Mm-hmm. And it is very cold, especially once you get out of the valley itself, getting close to this cave entrance that Asha leads you to.
What's that cold resistant armor, right?
I'm perfectly fine. Well, I have some newly developed trust issues, but I'm perfectly fine.
Welcome to the group. What we do?
So she leads you up to the cave, and it is a fairly small cave. There's a very narrow opening that widens into a cavern about 5-10 feet. Essentially, you're crawling through a little space into a larger cavern. There's a small trickle of water that is running and collecting into a little pool and then draining out through the rock, through a very small crevice in the rock. You can see elements of where a fire has been before, but it has long been undisturbed. There's evidence of where it was originally a natural cavern to start. Doran, you can clearly see where it has been excavated and enlarged, and where this pool of water has been cultivated and contained at one point or another to be very hospitable. And as soon as you get inside and out of the wind, the temperature is actually fairly comfortable.
Wow.
Excellent.
I-
thought.
Point out any of that if it's relevant or interesting to any of them who want to hear me talk. I say those.
Extra precaution. Gestor, can you still do... No?
I can.
I don't know, but not there. It feels kind of nice in here, but Should we dome it up for the night, or
We're in a cave.
yes?
There's a short crawl space to come into the cave, and it is very dark in here. The entrance itself is shadowed by the mountain now, so it is very dim light in this cave.
Lauren, on the way up, do I see trees and things like that, dead branches on the ground that I could build a fire with? Or is this
Yeah.
rock?
There's some shrubbery, some things that you can get.
Shrubbery.
Bring me a shrubbery.
Cool. Well, I would very much appreciate a natural fire in a natural place for a little while. So the dome is fine by me if we so desire, but I'll take first watch and enjoy the comfort of a warm fire if you don't mind.
Yep, that works. Also, I'll pull out a couple of torches and sort of sneeze on them and set them up in places. To sort of give a little bit more light for some people who don't like cold, dark caverns.
I was gonna say, how's Val feeling?
Val's got a million other things on his mind at the moment. He's very, very distracted.
And distraught even more so by dark confined places.
So we will. I'll put some light around with some torches that we have, and then I guess we'll start settling in for the night.
I'll go gather some brush.
Is
Yeah,
Asha?
easily done. Asha is still with you. She's
'Cause I
waiting,
wanna-
quiet, sort of looking around the space.
I wanted to ask her about the Ebonrath.
Okay. So you go up to her, she watches you approach.
So, you know more than we know about pretty much everything, it feels like. When we did we tell the whole story of the encounters and the things and all the stuff we did? Or did we just give clip?
I told her as detailed as I could remember, which was, kind of,
Reader's Digest version.
yeah, the Reader's Digester version.
Well, then I just reiterate on like our messy encounter at the tower.
You're smarter than me. You probably have better recollection.
Yeah, so I tell her about that encounter, and I'm just it weighs on the conscience what we did, and since you know more than the rest of us, especially about these enemies, should the conscience be burdened by the actions we took? From my perspective, these were the actions of people trying to survive. And that's all that I look at it as. But it's still, I don't really know what that was that we fought. And I don't feel... I have people that I don't want to die and I need to stay alive, so they stay alive. But I don't want to be killing things that don't need to die. Would you be willing to, if you have the knowledge, explain what it was we even fought?
You're speaking specifically of the young dragon that y'all fought?
Yup! That's what I
Dragon.
meant when I described the encounter.
Okay.
Young child dragon, not human. Just one thing.
Who's the dragon?
He feels a disturbance in the cave, and he's like, "Yo, I hear talk of dragons."
I cannot dictate the matter of your conscience, Master Dwarf. I know that Drasmina has long been fascinated with alchemy and what she can accomplish through alchemical means. The experiments that she has done on many creatures. From what you speak, from what you say, it sounds mostly as though she was using her own offspring. I do not know if that makes it better or worse. I will say it is a gift of sorts. That Tiamat's line takes this ability from their mother. That they can be as human as they wish to be. With all the flaws that contains. And all the grace therein.
She's the Shao Tucker of the family.
This Shao Tucker. A famous alchemist I once heard of.
Terrible one is that.
Oh.
That was a little
Experiments he committed on his own child. Truly, the comparison is not unheard of. Not without due.
Well, thank you for that. I don't feel completely comfortable with it, but at least I feel a little better. It wouldn't have done anybody any good if we died.
You're not wrong.
Thank you.
I do not know what gift I give, but if it eases you, take from it what you will.
And then I do take it, because it's something. I go off and try to make one of them damn whetstones.
Okay.
While this is all going on, can I send some messages?
You have the spell slots?
I do. I've got 4th levels.
Okay.
This is gonna suck if we get attacked in our sleep, though. Hold the line. Right. We would too. First one I'm gonna send is to Liren.
Okay.
Just checking in. We have made some new contacts. Still searching for what it is we're supposed to do. How many journals have been retrieved so far?
You contacted Liren?
Yes.
Okay. I'm relieved to hear from you. Are you well?
Kind of.
11 journals have been collected. An additional 3 have been located. 18 remain unaccounted for.
Oh, that's not fun.
That's a big number.
All right, I'll use my other 4th level apply. Well as can be expected, we located another journal in the Feywild. Not sure of exact location. The Brotherhood intends to collect the journals in order to bring Tiamat here. One word. I was like, yeah, we're done.
That is ill-omened news. Are you able to get the journals they have in their possession? How many do they have, do you know?
And I am out of salt.
Val just died in there.
I was like, like that moment where you're the old coin telephones, like
The payphones, you're out of money.
we don't have collect.
You see, kids, it used to be there were these phones that attached to the wall, and then they had these holes that would be outside that had to put coins in. Coins are like money that you put online, but they're real and physical.
There's a natural shortage of them.
I
Oh.
saw one of those in 2020, actually.
Right. After I get done with that, I'm gonna go see if I can bother Rye for a few minutes.
Which point of order, the conversation I had with Asha,
Mhm.
I that wasn't intended to be private conversation.
Oh,
So
I heard
if
it.
anybody heard that, didn't
Yeah,
I don't know.
was.
Oh yeah.
It was easily overheard by anybody who cared to listen in.
Okay.
The Echoist Cave.
And I'm outside with my fire listening in.
Well, I mean, you can hear everything from everywhere because
Because we're inside a cave. You fill up a cave with smoke, and bad things happen.
Halberd,
Hold
make
on.
a nature check.
What are you practicing?
Modified 20.
Modified 20.
Fair.
You remember
Yep.
going into the cave, you did see a small section of the ceiling that was soot-stained. You surmise that there's probably some thin crevice or crack that would permit smoke to escape without suffocating everybody in the cave.
Considering there's a fire pit already in the cave.
dwarf know how stone do. Can see crack. Is there hole?
Not whole. Make a perception check with
Think
advantage.
like caveman must.
Oh man,
Oh,
roll with it.
make check perception.
Do I see a crack in the
I got a 16, and that's probably plus 0. Oh god, I gotta get technology working. Perception is 0, so that's a 16.
Okay, 16. That is still enough. Yeah, you get a pretty good idea of the stone
Good job.
of the ceiling and the thin crevice that does let the smoke escape. You're not sure where to, but it's obviously enough of a draft to carry it. So a small fire would be safe in this particular space.
But would we want smoke saying that, hey, we up here, yo?
Well, there's smoke outside now, so.
Yeah. So I know, but also, like,
Let's get some
no, I'm making that whetstone first. So I'm going to stay up with Halbard right now and make that whetstone, or try to.
Okay. It'll take, as you get started in it, there's this sense feeling that you have. This is going to take right around 2 hours of work. And go ahead and actually make a check for me with your runestones. So,
God, I forget how to. Where's my note about how to do runestones? It's over here. Now, okay, so that'd be a 20 proficiency plus intelligence to
Yes.
make a stone. And
it's okay. Same thing with with this whetstone.
it is a stone.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a doo-doo. It's 13.
Yep, still enough.
Did it.
You over the next couple of hours, you successfully do manage to create this whetstone. You feel this presence, and it's almost an out-of-body sensation, as though your hands know what they're doing. You've never done this before, but it almost feels like you've got the muscle memory to do it.
I'm possessed. That's what it is. Lauren's gonna kill me, guys.
Welcome to the club. We've got weapons.
Oh, I made a stone!
You did. So while Doran is working on this, Val, you wanted to speak to Rye?
Yeah, as we're all just getting settled, I'm just go sit down next to Ryan and have that very deep contemplative but not quite constipated look. I'm trying to find words, and Val's just gonna sit there for a minute,
And Rye stares at him with a very unimpressed look.
and he's just a bit. You and I share certain things in common. We both come from
You know what? I'll just do this.
sanctums. very different ones, but nonetheless have experience with multiple worlds and travels. And as of the last day, we have both died. And you would think that as a death cleric, I should be okay with that. But I'm very much not. How, after you died, how did you continue on as if life was normal?
Life is normal, darling. Death is a part of it. Is that not what you told Halberd?
It is, and those are words that I've believed. But we're here. We did not follow the natural order. We did not move on after death. And I don't know about you, but that was not a pleasant experience. And not that I expected it to be, not that stupid. But how do you face that again?
Face what, darling? Living? How do you face living? You live. It's not really that complicated.
You would think, but how do you continue living? How do you continue your course while knowing what death is like, knowing what awaits you? I mean, in your case, do you look forward to what comes next? Do you just ignore it until it happens?
It is a part of life, darling. You die. If you come back to life, you continue living. But death happens. It will happen to all of us eventually. So I don't particularly put any stock in it. You have a deity, do you not? Have you not had these conversations with your god?
No, she intends to communicate more in dreams, in omens, in psychotic squirrels. That seems to be a favorite of hers.
It seems more like that's the only things you listen to.
Well, I have spoken with her. I've listened to what she's had to say. We've actually had conversations, but this is not one that's ever come up. I've never died before. Whenever we did speak of death, it was just that same cliched quote of death is a part of life, but that takes on a whole new meaning when it's your death.
It took on a meaning for you, darling. The only person who can have that discussion is you. I would recommend talking to your god about it. My death is my death. The experience I have with my death is my own. It is never going to be the same as yours, especially because you apparently take yours more seriously. Have some faith in your god and talk to her.
Well, kind of out of spice at the moment. Kind of out of magical juice.
I have found in my conversations with deities that it doesn't take magic to talk to them, it just takes talking. But perhaps my relationship with them is a little bit different.
That could very well be, but
Guys.
I figure it wouldn't hurt to get the opinion of someone who's recently gone through a similar situation.
It's not a situation. It just happened.
That's the literal definition of a situation.
It only becomes a situation whenever you make it that.
That's a fair point. Well, I'll let you get some rest. I'll throttle off over to his little corner. And then right before he goes to sleep, he just whispers, grabs his holy symbol and just whispers a little prayer of, I don't know why this affects me so, but I'll trust that things happen for a reason. You've taken an interest in me and trusted me with your gifts. But I'm not entirely sure how to proceed now. And then I'll just pull the rapier off the belt and kind of throw it up and fall asleep.
Okay.
So rapier in one hand, holy symbol the other, and just curled up to sleep.
I'm perturbed by that still.
Okay. Kiztor?
While conversations are happening and how we're working the fire and stuff, I probably helped him gather a little bit of firewood, and then as I'm over by one of the shrubs, I'm just gonna kneel down with a bag from my pouch and put a little bean in the ground, pour some water on it.
You've got magic beans or whatever.
Okay.
I forgot about this thing.
Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're just gonna go to sleep, try not to have a fight, trying to be fine. I will plant a magic bean.
There's so much.
Jonathan, you want to use that wish spell now, or like,
Okay.
you got a deck of many things. Let's use that too.
100 ready, and
Go ahead and
Chaos Bane.
Alright, go ahead and roll it. Roll a D100 for me.
And that face.
that is going to be 87.
87.
Good year.
Good year to tire.
Shall I roll a d4?
Please roll a D4.
It's a 1, so 4 total.
Okay. 4 total. Where you had planted the bean, there is a brief, almost, okay, you know those little sparklers that you get for around New Year's or 4th of July, and you light the end, and then there's the lights, and it shoot little sparks off, and it burns down slowly. There's one of those that starts on the ground, and it's a warm orangish sparkle that shoots off instead of the normal bright, like white or yellow light that it gives. And it goes and it creates a little circle, and as these sparks fly off of it, they form they remain as these almost like sticks of magic forming and creating this little nest. And this nest forms, and as the light diminishes, there's a brief little poof of smoke, and these 4 eggs land inside this basket, this nest.
Breakfast.
These eggs are bright green in color with tiny little pink spots, like speckles, covering them. And they just sit there. They're fairly small, between like a duck-sized egg and a chicken-sized egg. So, yay big or so.
I'll just think that's interesting. I'll take a look at these later. And I'll kind of wrap them in some cloth, take the whole nest so there's some padding, and put them away and be like, what could it hurt? I'm gonna plant one more.
Okay, go ahead and roll another D100.
Somebody get this man deck.
From down
That didn't kill me.
Age of curiosity, when it goes well, you go one step for one more.
Hey, he's providing breakfast for the party.
Hey!
Again, this is why we picked him first.
Okay, what is it?
29.
Say what?
29.
29?
This is why we picked him first in the death pool.
This is 100% why he's in the death.
Oh
I'm
my
like-
goodness.
Maybe 20 feet from Albert in the fire right now.
Oh my goodness.
He got the
Okay.
green egg. Maybe this one's the
Okay.
head.
I know.
So, you plant the bean. Okay. Well, this is so good. I love this so much. You plant the bean and you water it, and at first it seems like nothing happens. And then you notice a slow creeping, crawling almost, of pebbles and stones from the earth around you, moving towards this place where you planted the bean. These tiny little stones gather and roll together, and there's a brief, like, dipping of the earth as this spot starts to expand and grow, the earth itself moving and shifting and forming into this
Taking a couple of steps back, just watching it.
weird shape. You watch it form, and at first you can't quite place it. It's a blob that starts to form into a shoe, a boot. There's a foot, and as the earth continues to rattle and shake, pebbles from all over this cavern are now rolling towards this thing that is emerging from the earth. It has a rattling, almost shaking sound filling the cave now as the pebbles come and gather and start to form this statue. And as it is built, and as you're standing there, it starts forming the boots, and up to the legs, the knees, up to the waist. And about the time it hits waist and starts to form the torso, you realize it is mirroring your position. It's not just mirroring your position. This is a perfect replica, a statue of you. And as it is gathering and as it is forming, within a minute, the earth is quiet. This statue is perfect replication of Kazator. Is uncanny in how lifelike it is. And as it is complete, detailed down to the last hair on his head, the eyes blink open, and it turns, and it looks at you, and it begins to speak. It says, "You ruffian, you blackguard, you most unmannerly of foes. You heinous creature, you monster, what have
Put it
you
in my
done?"
medallion. Has to make a wisdom saving throw.
This is not a creature.
Oh, dang it.
Oh
my god.
Did we hear all this madness?
It is utterly immobile except for the mouth and the facial features as it moves. Yes, it is speaking loudly enough. It is describing Kazator as
But does it sound like?
Oh yes, definitely speaking in his own voice, using language like he would.
Can I just read the brief magic bean description for everybody?
We'll see
ahead.
what happens, because it's an animate immobile stone statue that looks exactly like Kazator. And it's making verbal threats against him. It's saying, you come one step closer, come here, and I'm gonna clock you. I will kill you. I will run you through with my sword. Careful, my crossbow is ready and loaded. You watch yourself, you unmannerly heathen.
Can we hear
He's
this in
not
the cave?
moving.
Oh yes,
He's not moving at all. He's
not
just
moving at all, just speaking.
Well, if I heard that, I would have come out to, like, what the hell's going on? Sword, axe, shield,
Yeah,
whatever.
you have emerged. There is this immobile statue. It is shouting insults at Kazator.
Rye's gonna just find a little spot on the cave that she can just lean against to watch with a grin.
Wait, I believe this calls for an insult off between Kasators.
I say the one that
What
loses.
in the world have you done?
I'm okay with that.
I believe I have created a very angry statue of myself.
It's calling you a
Right.
witless fool.
Well, you're just gonna stand out here and argue with yourself then?
I was thinking of blowing its head off, actually.
Wait, I have a thing. I reach into the bag, I pull out one of the corked vials of basilisk blood. Here, you can look like him now. Or
It's
maybe we
saying
can set
your
up. I
brain
don't
is
know.
comprised entirely of earwax. What are you grabbing, Solyex?
I reach into the bag and I pull out the. We have corked vials of basilisk blood still. So I was gonna reach in and pull out one of those. Stonehand blood.
From the stone hand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stonehand.
you pull it out. It is completely like split, and the top half is like a goopy gelatin looking almost, and the bottom half is almost like water.
So gross.
Oh, it is
Maybe we should get
disgusting, like almost black with just a hint of red into it.
I
That's
turn, step a little bit away from the cave, and I throw it against the wall of the cave. Or like the outside of the mountain. So like outside away.
The outside of the mountain. Okay, so you crawl back out the tunnel. You throw and shatter the vial.
Yeah, just to see what happens.
Make a perception check for me.
16.
16? Okay, wonderful. You smell one of the worst things you have ever smelled. It reeks
Well, that could be
so
useful.
badly. Make a
Good to
constitution
know.
saving throw.
This could be very useful.
Do the rest of us have to make
That's
constitution
a 1 for a 13.
For 13, you feel the vomit rise within you. You manage to just barely choke it down. You don't quite spew your cookies, but the urge is definitely there. It is awful.
Strong is
So-
this for the rest of us?
Hmm?
How strong is this for the rest of us?
Oh,
Yeah.
y'all are definitely getting a whiff. It's, you know how skunk spray lingers, and it's
Yes,
really
I
bad
do.
right around where it sprays.
I know that very
But
well.
it's not quite so bad the farther away you get. Y'all are a little bit protected. There is some breeze coming through and blowing it outside, but y'all are getting enough to get this awful scent.
Guys, I
So-
made a discovery. Basilisk blood, when left unattended for a while, becomes a wonderful stink bomb.
Yes, and when the creatures come back, I volunteer subjects for them to eat first.
So, yeah, to summarize, we have a statue that's being very loud and giving us away, and now we have a smell giving us away.
Are those eggs?
They are. Would you like one? I haven't had a chance to see what they do.
Sure, I'll eat an egg. Do you cook them
Oh.
first? Do you have to cook them? Do you not?
I go back into
I haven't eaten in a
the...
couple days. What's going on? Oh,
At this
yeah.
point, Kazator is calling you a scurvy ruffian, a fool, a coward, telling you to come closer, and he will fight you as a duel of honor. And if you refuse, then you are an honorless savage.
Um,
I ignore the statue and go back in the cave anyway. I don't care.
Is this inside or outside the cave?
Oh, this is the statue is inside where Kazator planted it.
wait, I thought it was outside by the bushes.
The cave.
Oh, y'all are outside the cave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
it
was
was-
going to the shrubbery where I actually have soil.
Okay. So yeah, never mind then. This is outside the cave then.
Oh, good deal. Then I'm
That
gonna
is
go
my bad. I
probably-
did not quite
probably-
understand that.
No,
That's okay.
better.
Is it possible to? I mean, do you need? I have a hammer. I have a sword. Do you want to? I don't know. If
I have
that's
a crossbow, but maybe we should start with the hammer.
Maybe not use thunder. I don't know.
I'm just saying, all I've got, I can blow its head off. It'd be one noise instead of a whole night full of noise. How are you
Well,
going to pinpoint a cacophonous boom and echoing through mountains?
we'll start with the hammer. Also, are we cooking these eggs? Because legitimately, I haven't eaten in like 6 hours. I'm hungry.
I believe they're like, you just pop them.
Kazator is calling you as faithless as a stewed prune.
I will take the hammer. I will take whatever the hammer is that Doran gave me, the Azer hammer, and I will just
Yeah.
try to smack it in the head.
Alright, roll to hit.
This is the regular hammer, so that's 9, 13.
13, pulling up. For stone.
We're stoned.
Okay. You make contact, and it's a glancing blow off of the shoulder of the statue. It doesn't really seem to do a whole lot of damage to the stonework itself.
I swing again.
It turns and it calls you a Okay, so no, it's not insulting you. It's continuing to insult Kazator, calling him the most heinous of villains. Saying, no, don't attack me. He's the one you're looking for. He is the most notable coward, an endless and infinite liar.
I'm inside the cave. Rye's gonna go, you forgot this courteous pop.
Oh.
You know what? I changed my mind. I like this guy.
Okay, do you swing again?
Yeah, that was a 16.
16. A slightly stronger hit. You feel a little bit of impact, but not seeming to do any significant damage to the stone.
Hammer, going back in bag. Pulling out sword, attempting to use magic sword.
Okay. At this point, it's describing Kazator as a subtly false, disloyal man. How he is.
26.
Did the hammer?
As they're starting to bang away at this statue, I'm going to grab my bow and go hunting if that's okay, because fresh food
We're
sounds really
supposed to be taking a rest. What
Yeah,
happened?
y'all aren't, and I'm on watch, and y'all apparently are
I'm
also
asleep.
on watch.
Val is like,
I was going to, and then things happened. 26, Lauren.
Okay, 26. Yeah, as it is fixing to describe Kazator as pigeon-livered and yellow-bellied, it can't quite get all the syllables off before you cleave off half of its face with your sword. It's
Okay.
still standing there, but now everything's kind of muffled and shouting like this.
That'll do. I eat the victory egg and go back inside.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Well, that's glorious. Ooh,
Is it?
okay, thankfully I'm good at Constitution, so 26.
26. Okay. What's your lowest ability score?
Dex and intelligence of both 13.
All right. Pick one.
I love that it's odd too.
It's a gashapon. Who knows what's about to just happen to you?
I rolled
You
above
could-
Dex. Yep, Dex.
Dex. Your dexterity score is now 14.
Wow.
Permanently.
It goes up by 1 permanently.
Can I eat another egg?
Does Kazator let you?
Yes, sir. That's a great egg. Here.
Feel free.
Awesome. I eat the rest of the eggs.
Did
You
I
eat
eat
all
one?
4?
Did I eat one,
What?
Sordiax?
One at a time. I eat the next one. This is amazing.
Wow, greedy.
All right. Make another Constitution saving throw.
That's a 20.
20.
Yes.
That is a success. Your intelligence is now 14.
Here's what these eggs are amazing.
Suddenly,
You
you're
want
starting
one?
to make connections. Things are making a little bit more sense. You're looking at Kazator and at the eggs, and you're like, "Oh, this is cool."
Do
It's about to be so bad.
you want an egg? These
I
eggs
want
are
an egg.
awesome. Have an egg.
They're that good.
Um,
I eat an egg.
All right, make a Constitution
There's
saving
got to be a
throw.
downside to this. There has to be a
The
downside.
only one that should eat these eggs.
It lasts for like 5 minutes or something.
No, this is a permanent increase.
Permanent increase. Only. I don't know. They're making con saves, and my con is crap. Woo!
You're okay. So you're within 10 feet of Soliex. Does
Yep.
that impact the saving
Plus
throws?
4. That's a +4 to saving throws.
That would have been a 17th and failure, which bumps it to a 21 and success.
Success. What's your lowest ability score?
My strength is an 8.
All right, that goes up to 9.
So how many eggs were there total?
4.
There's one
3
left.
have been eaten. There is 1 left.
Okay, so
Oh, Anybody else want the last egg?
should we save this egg? It's just me and you outside right now. Should we save this
Oh.
egg?
I mean, how long is the egg gonna last? I'm not there. Shoot.
Just chow down and get a 0.
Should we save the egg? Should we?
I don't know. I mean, eggs go bad, don't they? Should we?
I think eggs go bad.
They're delicious. You got 2. I should get 2.
Oh.
Here, have an egg.
I eat the egg.
All right. This one, it's a little slimy going down as you bite into the shell. Go ahead and make that Constitution saving throw.
I want to step away 11 feet, but I'm not going to.
You wanna what? Step out of the way. Is that what you said?
But I won't. I stand next to you.
That's a natural 2.
That's the downside.
You die.
And now I need my d6s.
I will roll the d6s.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
How many d6s?
This is 10d6.
Oh my god.
Load in my belly.
Oh.
The DC for those wisdoms or con saves is 20.
Mm-hmm.
You wait, what was it?
20.
That was the DC?
That was the DC. Yeah, you.
Thank you, plus 12 to con saves.
Yeah, with your +4, I'm at a 9.
Oh my god.
Okay, Zator.
Everything was going great.
You have more
You
beans,
feel
right?
you feel the slick slide of the egg down your throat. You feel it impact your stomach, and there's a churning sort of feeling. You're like, oh, this doesn't feel good.
Please don't die.
And then there is a sudden blast of pressure inside of you. Take 44 points of damage.
I'm just on the ground.
Isator?
With
you
7
unconscious?
hit points left.
With how many?
7.
Cool. Hey, Isator, this didn't happen. I pick him up. 15 points lay on hands. You're okay.
Yeah, Silix, as you see him, there's a brief moment of panic that crosses his face, and you can see his stomach like distend out a little bit in
That's not
this
supposed to do that.
explosion. There's a he burps a little bit. There's a brief like trail of blood down his face.
That's not supposed to do. We'll clean that up.
He tries to help me up. He's like, he realizes if he lets go, I'm just crashing back down.
Cool. All right. Here's 15 points. You're okay.
Oh,
yeah, 'cause I don't like
these eggs.
Do you have any more beans? That was amazing. You are a masterful arcanist. Come here. You're awesome. We're gonna go inside. It's sleepy time.
That's all I want to do right now.
Sleepy time.
Doing insane things.
Sleepy time. As I'm saying sleepy time, I'm also gonna cast Healing Word at first level.
All right, how many does he restore?
Nope, that's not in the box.
Just looked at the
Oh,
time.
6. You get 6 hit points.
6 hit points. So there's something warm and comforting that just helps everything feel that little bit better as Silix is saying sleepy time.
We're gonna go inside the cave. Hey guys! I'm intelligent. We're going inside the cave.
All right. So you'll head back inside the cave. Val is lying down, sleeping already. Halberd, you have your fire going. Have you moved your fire from outside to inside, or is it still outside?
No, I moved it inside, and then
Okay.
I went hunting.
So you went hunting. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
15?
15. There are a couple of rabbits that you managed to catch. Taking them down at easy shots with your skill, no problem.
And I find some herbs and like, just some edible vegetables to make a stew while everyone's sleeping.
Wild onion is probably a lot of what you find. Maybe with a 16. Yeah, I'd say you could probably find a couple of herbs growing sparsely up in the mountains. A small bush of rosemary that shelters a little bit of thyme, although the thyme is kind of straggly looking and not super healthy.
Sweet. Cool. While everyone's sleeping, I'll go ahead and start food.
Okay.
I was still up for this break.
Okay. So y'all are keeping watch. Rye, what are you doing?
Probably going to contented sleep to the sound of K-Store being insulted.
Okay. And you still hear it muffled toward the mouth, yelling off into the distance. Much quieter volume than it had been before, and it just soothes you to sleep.
You're terrible.
So as everybody is settling in for the night, Halberd is cooking, Doran is helping with keeping watch. The cave gets comfortably warm, but not ever too hot, not ever to the point of discomfort, where it's just the firelight is soothing. It is a peaceful resting point after a long and arduous day. Val, in your sleep, you are...
Right.
I hate you so much right now.
You're in a forest.
Ooh.
It is dimly lit. It is dark. Make a perception check for me.
Good at those. 21.
21. Okay. You're starting to take in your surroundings. You can see old, aged trees, grown thick trunks, long branches, bare of leaves. They have all fallen on the ground. You look around you, there is a thin layer of mist. You look overhead at what should be a glorious sky, and it is just dark, as though there is some thin haze separating you from it. You look and you see, the moon is almost full, but there is no moon in the sky overhead. It is utterly silent. It is dark. You look down at your hands. You see a thin liquid, viscous, covering your hands. You look around and you realize, wait, this is familiar. This glade is familiar. It wasn't like this. But there is a familiarity to this place. You feel a drip off of your fingers. And you look at your hands again, and there's this liquid is covering them, and you feel your hands. It is sticky. Oily, almost. You catch a flash of movement out of the corner of your eye. In the dim and the dark, there's a flash of something light-colored, and it's moving quickly. You realize it is coming straight for you. It is an owl. A pure white owl. It is flying right towards you. You throw your hands up over your face. You feel the impact of the claws against your arm, your right arm. And then the dream fades. You're a little restless in your sleep. How many d6 did you take from the ability from the sword, the temporary hit points?
That was 5.
5? Okay. You wake up with 5 temporary hit points the next morning.
Ooh, cool.
That sounds neat.
So does that mean I actually completed a long rest?
We'll see.
Okay, I won't change anything until you say yes.
I will say, is there anything else anybody wants to do over this long rest?
I was gonna try to
Level
shout.
up?
No idea what he said.
He
I was
said
gonna
level
try.
up.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
No, I'm just gonna leave the stew on to boil or slowly simmer, so whoever comes on watch can eat some. And so I'll swap off and make sure to inform and convey, hey, make sure that there's enough left for the next person after you.
Mm-hmm. You do see Reslinus lumped against Nightbane over along the side of the wall, and he is in a deep sleep. As you go off the watch, it looks like his color is improved some. Like he is doing slightly better than he was when you first retrieved him from the box.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
Anything else?
I'm just gonna
Kazator,
get
Rye?
during my watch, I'll just get Jojo out and talk to him, let him run around a bit. Apologize, it's been a while, since he's seen not a pocket dimension.
He chitters at you. He finds a little stone to play with. He pounces on it and then bats it around and jumps up in the air and glides over to it for where he can pounce on it again and then roll it around, and he catches it in his paws and throws it over, rolls on his back to go chasing off of it again, just scrabbling after it. And you get the sense he enjoys being out and about and spending the time with you.
Garrett had been trying to do something.
Hmm?
Was there something you wanted to do, Doran? You do
Yes,
manage to.
I said earlier.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was saying, like, I made the whetstone. I was gonna try and sharpen something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it can sharpen magic weapons or not.
There's a feeling in the back of your head that's like, no, this is for
Okay.
normal weapons to impart some element of magic to them. Some keen blade.
Then- Anyone had a non-magical weapon that needed sharpening, then I wanted to do that. If I had enough time to get a full sleepy time.
Mm-hmm.
We're on watch together. I'll just toss you an arrow and ask you to see what that does.
Would that work, Lauren?
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
I +1 arrow of sharp awesomeness?
Yes, you can give him back a sharpened arrow. It is a +1 arrow.
I do that. I sharpen the arrow.
It takes a little while. It takes about an hour to do. Actually, hold on. Let me double check that.
I'm gonna sit and wait.
Yeah.
Does it do the magic?
Dude, those eggs were awesome.
Mhm.
Totally worth the risk of exploding internally.
Yeah, when you have like an amazing con save, not when you have a 3 con save.
I mean, still, DC 20, that's
That's a huge save.
if that wasn't me, I would be scared.
Yeah, at a 20.
I think Doran is maybe the only other person who could have done it.
Well, I mean, I only have like a +3. How do you have a +12 or whatever?
That's from +8.
Because
Paladin?
I'm proficient, I have a +4 in con, and then I add my charisma modifier to it as well because I'm awesome.
Paladin.
Yeah, so it takes an hour to make the +1 arrow.
Okay. Oh, I do have a dot on Constitution, so I could do that. Oh, saving throw.
Yeah.
So,
If you asked me before I slept, I would have given you my dagger. If you didn't ask me, I didn't give it to you.
Okay.
Halberd, you have a +1 bow, is that right?
Mhm.
So when you're firing your +1 bow and your +1 arrow, that'll be a +2. The bonus is stacked. Does that make sense?
Neat.
Sounds good. Love
Neat.
this. Thanks for the arrow, bro.
Yeah.
How many did he do in an
Fantastic.
hour? Arrows?
1 arrow in an hour.
Yeah.
Use it in the day.
Oh yeah.
Not a fast process.
No, it's not.
We're getting in a fight today.
Probably.
Do we complete our long rest, Lauren?
Is there anything else anyone wants to accomplish?
No.
I may just check to see if I've gotten anything else in the journal from Alice from the council, but that's about it.
You do get a note. The council has taken notice and advise you to be on your guard. Continue watching and report back your findings.
Understood.
All right. Everybody completes the long rest. Val, you're up 5 hit points. You are down a hit die.
Oh, okay.
And everybody has leveled up.
Ain't that
Air horn.
What was that, Celiax?
Fear check.
Beard check. Okay, roll.
I have a warlock.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
I totally forgot. Oh
That's
my
a
god.
90. Did we want high or low? I don't remember.
How does level up?
I feel like we were going high. We'll say high. Celiax, you wake in the face in the morning, and your face is kind of itchy. You'd had a little start to the mustache, and it's extended down by about an inch now. You can feel where it's coming in. Starting to get the little like Fu Manchu effect.
Don't mind me.
I kept thinking, to the Underlord, and then I kept forgetting to say anything about it in session. I've been doing that daily in my little journal thing. I was gonna.
And Kazator, as you finish your morning journaling, chronicling your adventures to the Underlord, you get a brief sense of glee that is entirely not your own.
Lovely.
You awaken in the morning, feeling somewhat more powerful than you were before. You have an innate knowledge of a new ability that you have. So go ahead and take your level in Warlock. Everybody else levels up. Real quick, hit die.
Right.
Val, what was that?
8.
8, very nice.
I got a 10!
Woo!
Dang.
Awesome rolls. Right?
2.
Oh.
That's not good for you!
I mean, it's
It's
wizard.
just on par for the course.
It's wizard. Doran?
Kazator, hey, 6.
Okay, 6 for Kazator. Doran?
Let's see what I get for a D10. I got a 9.
Ooh. Halberd?
I rolled a 6.
6. Did you go ranger or rogue?
Rogue.
Nice.
Ooh. What they give you?
What was that?
I think at level 6, I don't have the book in front of me, but I think I get expertise again.
I have the book right
I will
here.
say, Jordan, everything she did in regards to Kazator was more humor than actually malicious.
Lauren, what was my HP earlier? Before level up? Because you got that wrote down, right?
I do. Give me just a moment.
Because it reset my HP to the maximum for this, and now I don't know what I'm supposed to add the 9 to.
You are, or you were, at 88. So you're now at 97.
Okay.
Because y'all just went up to level 11, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
If I wasn't a cleric, this would be the dopest of levels for me.
Wait, what? What is this doing?
Level 11 Paladin is amazing.
Guys, I have 6 level spells now. Ah!
Oh yeah, I gotta take a look at those.
Oh, I need to take new spells.
All right. So we are going to say this is the end of session today as y'all awaken, feeling newly empowered, rested, watched over in the space provided by Asha.
I have 3
Y'all can go ahead and spend the week intervening, leveling up, taking care of everything. As always, ask me questions if you need to. Let me know what's up with the characters. I will need updates, and we will go ahead and say goodbye for now. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for watching our adventure. We will see you next week. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy, and come back to see us soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.